All right, you are now tuned in to the Rotated Views podcast. I am your host, Jimmy Lee Velez. I'm here with James, Goose, and Gabe. What's going on, everyone? Bucket List. In this episode, we talk about everything pertaining to our achievements and experiences that we had or would like to accomplish during our lifetime. The crew discusses their biggest goals and dreams, skills they would like to learn, people they would like to meet, and much more. We wrap the episode up with quotes from Abraham Lincoln and George Bernard Shaw. Guys, if you're new, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to download and subscribe. We drop a new episode every Tuesday morning for your listening pleasure. Kicking things off with a definition, we want to define the term bucket list. A list of things that one has not done before one wants to do before dying. Is that how you guys define bucket list?
Yes, I mean, technically, but it seems like, just stuff you want to do. That's what seems like the general term for bucket list now.
Yeah.
It's just like, things I really want to do. Even though, it is things you want to do before you kick the bucket.
Yeah,
Sure. Exactly. All right, so I grabbed an article from thebucketlistguy.com. Is that appropriate or not? And his first question is, what exactly is a bucket list? And he defines it as a bucket list, by definition, a list of things that you want to do before you die, right? The term gained in popularity after the 2007 movie The Bucket List, where Morgan Freeman and Jack Nicholson, both whose characters are dying from cancer, create a bucket list of things they do before they die, and then actually do them. But where did the term come from? Better yet, what kinds of things do you put on a bucket list? All right, and then he goes on, and of course, this is the bucket list guy. He goes on to define the origins of the term bucket list. There's a good deal of controversy as to the exact origins of the term bucket list. Some people say it does date back to the Middle Ages when a method of execution involved the victim standing on a bucket with a noose tied around their necks. The bucket would then be kicked away, and the victim would strangle to death. Okay, that was way more intense than I thought. Another popular theory involves a reference to Catholic custom of holy water buckets. It used to be that after a person died, their body would be laid out and a bucket of holy water would be placed at the feet of the corpse. Friends and family who came to visit and pay their respects would sprinkle the body with the water. Finally, there was once a children's game that was quite popular. In this game, children would kick a ball about buckets that were placed randomly. If they kicked a bucket, they would automatically lose the game and have to sit out. It is easy to see now how the term could have been adapted to be associated with death and those things that you would want to do today if you thought it possible that you might die tomorrow. But how exactly do you make a bucket list, and what kinds of things do you put on your bucket list, and where do you make one? Cool. So that's pretty straightforward. I'll ask James. James, what's a bucket list?
It's a statue.
A statue.
It's a statue. Okay. Well, what kind of statue?
A bucket
It's a statue of a bucket.
and a man holding the bucket.
It's a statue of a bucket and a man holding a bucket. Okay. What is the purpose of the statue of a man holding a bucket?
God.
Okay.
He's going with the Catholic term of it then.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he kind of veered off to the the little religious term there. Okay. Cool. What's something that you want to do that you always wanted to do?
Monster trucks.
You want to drive a monster truck?
My monster truck is gonna be blessed.
It's gonna be a blessed
Nice.
monster truck. That's cool.
I'll have like 3 trucks.
Okay.
Like it.
What are you gonna do with the monster trucks?
I'm gonna do a backflip with one of them.
Yeah.
And make donuts. And make a high jump in the air.
Well, that's cool. What color are they gonna be?
Black.
Yeah. All 3 of them.
No, one will be green and one will be white.
So green, white, and black. That's cool. Are you gonna be the driver of all 3?
Yeah.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. Okay. I love you, buddy. All right. So I guess we can just jump right into it. Do you guys have a bucket list?
To a minor degree, I never thought of it in terms of a full list or anything like that.
Right.
Like I was like, yeah, I probably want to like eventually like go to like travel to Europe or something like that. 'Cause
Yeah, that's
I've
what-
never done that.
Yeah.
But it's like I haven't like thought like there's a whole bunch of things I want to do.
So is it okay? So the concept of a bucket list is something that you want to do before you die, right? So the difference is like, oh, I would like to do something versus
I need to do something.
I got to do this before I die,
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of thing. You know what I mean? Like it's more of like an urgent, like
Sure.
I definitely have to do this. I mean, there's a lot of things I think we all want to do.
Sure.
Yeah.
But then there's like what people call the bucket list. I personally don't. I'm not crazy about the term bucket list.
Sure.
Yeah.
The definition of it I use in a certain way, but I don't say it's my bucket list
Yeah.
per se. To me, it just has like a negative thing because
yeah.
Sure.
you know, you kick the bucket, but something before you kick the bucket. I don't know. It's just like a negative thing to me. But anyway, I definitely have a bunch of. I guess if that's how you define it, I have a bucket list. I just don't call it that.
Yeah, the word bucket list is kind of used more like loosely than what it really
Yeah,
means. Like everyone's
The
"Yeah,
term has
bucket
gotten
list."
way
Yeah.
degraded in terms of like this type of thing. Usually it's like I want to do this crazy whatever.
Yeah.
I want to go skydiving with a camel or some crazy nonsense.
He wants to skydive with a camel.
Yeah. So okay, so just kind of like easing right into it. If, for example, God forbid, but you knew you were gonna die tomorrow, right? What would you do today?
I don't know, cause do nothing, just enjoy the day, quit work and
Yeah, sadly to say, I don't think I have anything in never even thought to be put in that situation, but
Yeah,
to
sure.
even come up with like, if tomorrow's my last day, what am I doing today? Like,
Right.
I've never really thought of it. There are things that you would like to do, but I wouldn't say like, yeah, if that came, I'm not thinking that way anyway. So it's like,
Right, but if that question is presented to
I
you,
know,
what would you do?
I don't even know.
Because I don't think that way either, but I mean, I can come up with an answer. I don't know. For me, like if I knew that was the case, which
well, I think so,
in my mind, it would never be the case, right? I mean, it's such a silly concept.
it would be like, oh, spend as much time with your family as you can.
Right. That was my thing. I was just like, literally have like crazy conversations with my family and tell them, I guess, how much I love them and do something like.
Like you just air
fun.
everything out. It's
Yeah.
more like anything else. Like I don't have like lofty like crazy activities I want to do, but it's like you just want to spend as much time doing like whatever I guess even minute things you want to do for the.
Yeah.
I always think it's interesting. Like most of you guys know, my father passed away from pancreatic cancer back in 2012,
Yeah.
and he was given a time frame, but the time frame was so loose that you still didn't even know. I mean, it'd be like 6 months to 5 years, and you're like, okay. I don't know how I would react. I talk about this with a bunch of people to how you would react when someone says you have a date to your death, right? Like when you're younger, you just think you're invincible and like anything's possible.
Yeah.
And you can, take over the world and you're so healthy, you're never going to get sick and all this other stuff. But if you're presented with that concept, that you possibly can die between 2 years, let's just say 6 months to 2 years. I mean, how does one handle that? Obviously, we can't speak because it's not out of experience, but
Sure.
we can speak out of maybe how we would think.
Because I think at that point then you start like having you're gonna die tomorrow. That's too short a period of time to like really understand what that encapsulates. I guess to really like come to grips with that type of thing.
Yeah.
But if you have like that time frame, then it's like you're gonna go through the stages of grief and all that stuff, and then you eventually accept it, and you start really figuring out what you really wanted to do with your life, and then you start doing whatever activities or whatever it is. If you have like 6 months or a year, whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think of like the good times, right? And what makes the good times? Obviously, it's certain experiences. And one of the, like, for us, well, for me, I can speak, like, one of the best experiences I have is like going on vacation with my family, where there's this, like, this weird, like, elated feeling of you can somewhat do whatever you want, and there's no, outside of taking care of your family, there's no true responsibility work-wise.
Sure.
So, like, it's kind of like that really, I don't know, like that relieving feeling, something like that. So, like not to say it was like
carefree.
Yeah, there's like a very carefree component to that where it's like, okay, let's go to this location, this country, this cruise, whatever it is, where everyone else is also not stressed out when it comes to work or money.
Sure.
Right. And then you're getting like the true, like truly able to hang out and enjoy yourselves kind
Sure.
of thing. I think that I would definitely plan like a huge trip
Yes.
with as many people who possible that can go
Yeah.
that have no restraints.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Bring your friend or bring your kids and everything. I'm just saying no restraints in like work related or money where someone's like constant. They're like, I don't want to be. I'm gonna be honest with you. I know how crazy this is gonna sound. I don't want to be around someone who's like, hopefully I'll have the money to help pay for it.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't want to be around someone who's gonna constantly while you're on vacations, constantly complaining about money.
Yes.
Because then you're not enjoying yourself. Just don't bother. Not that I don't want you there, but this is brutal. Like you're not making this a pleasant. This is supposed to be a pleasant thing.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's pleasant for the people obviously who can swing
Be a
it.
part of that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's just a weird thing though. It's just a weird thing to think of.
Because it's already like the aspect of it is already negative to begin with, let alone like, oh, well, the day I'm gonna die. Like, what do I want to do? It's like it's too much negative
Yeah.
connotations that go with that terminology.
Yeah, it's like kind of like, oh, savor it now, 'cause in like one day you're done.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's also like this like realizing like concept like how grateful are we for what we have currently, right? So if like we always appreciate something more when it's taken away, not to be
Yeah.
cliche, but for example,
Sure.
like I rolled my ankle one year, right? And I have a cast, I broke my foot. I'm in a cast, I'm in a wheelchair, I'm in like these little knee scooter things. I took for granted just walking to my car or walking into the shower or just walking around work. Like you take for granted those things. So then it becomes like one of these things where it's like all of a sudden now my appreciation for life is heightened,
Sure.
which then poses the question, are you not appreciative of what you have now?
Sure.
Or have you forgotten? Right? Because all of a sudden like, oh, thank you. All of a sudden I want to hang out with this family. So did you not have these in mind before? Have you kept on pushing it off just because
Yeah.
you're going to die? Not that that's a late matter, but now all of a sudden you want to hang out, right?
But it puts a lot more stuff in perspective than you
Heck
didn't
yeah.
realize until you reflect on it. Whatever, like,
So going alongside of that, what would you do if you had unlimited resources, unlimited money? Would there be something you would just do? Because a lot of times when this question's asked, I'm like, all right, well, if I was going to die from tomorrow or if I was going to die in a week from now, I can't swing it anyway. Like, I'll just
Yeah.
kind of just chill at the house and, you know what I mean, call friends over or whatever.
just
But if money
blow out
wasn't
party for a
a
week.
matter, yeah, if it was, you had all the money in the world, right? And you had unlimited resources, you can call whoever in the world. Like, what would you do?
that's when you go on like a 80-day cruise around the Europe to islands, whatever. You just,
Yeah, no, I mean, that's
that's
kind
what you're talking
of,
about. Goes like you get a big old trip and just do whatever. Like,
and you pay for everyone,
carefree, yeah.
whoever's going, like this one whole carefree.
One just giant trip, just like experience everything that you never did up until that point.
Right. And like I think I would just like I think we all if you're not there mentally when it comes to like the material things, I think it's like I would buy certain things, but again, I still go back to like the quote experiences. It's kind of like
'Cause-
okay, like when you think back of like your college or your younger years, right? You think about like going to that party or
yes.
going to that whatever and just having fun, right?
Yes.
You don't necessarily remember the car that took you there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
'cause-
saying? Or the
yeah,
clothes
if
you
had-
wore.
If you had 6 months, I'm not gonna buy a big old house because that doesn't make much sense. You can't do
Right.
anything other than like, oh yeah, I lived in a mansion for a couple of days, and like that's not gonna
Right.
matter after whatever the 6 months is over.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can have a bunch of people live at your house or something for that time, but I mean, but it's those people with you is the experience, not the house itself.
Yeah, exactly. And I think like if when it comes to something like that, like cutting a big check for something, like for me it's definitely like charity wise or helping like the less fortunate or whatever.
I guess almost like at least you're leaving a name for yourself in some regard.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, kind of like one of those things, or maybe build a structure.
Okay.
I'm not sure 100% what it would be, but something that was like,
A doghouse.
yeah, something really tiny. No, I don't know, like a library or like
Sure.
a shelter or something to that, extent. Maybe a church, a school. Like I don't know. Like if you have unlimited resources, I mean, there's so much you can do. Yeah, but I think it's like a neat neat concept. Like just to think about it, your mind definitely drifts. What have you always wanted to do but have not done yet?
No, like I said, like the only thing was like I've really ever like thought about something like that was like traveling. Like I've never, the farthest I've ever gone now is maybe like to the Bahamas, like when I was like a teenager.
Yeah.
Prior to that, I've only done like it's all within the country. Like I've only gone like Florida. That's probably the max of like East Coast. I've never gone anywhere West Coast. I haven't done like anything overseas or anything like that.
Right.
So that's like the biggest thing I've never done that I would like to do.
Yeah.
And that's the way I keep going back to. I hope to not being a constant repeating this myself, but
Well, no, I mean travel is like huge. I know like one of the things I want to do for me is like you had kind of touched upon it was building that legacy.
Yeah.
And part of that building that legacy is like building a brand like a household brand. I always thought that was like such like a cool thing. Like when someone looks up and says X, Y, and Z brand, like a Nike or Adidas, and you think like,
Sure.
that's like just this massive like brand. Obviously, that leaves a legacy. Obviously,
Absolutely.
that affects multiple lives. But I think there's an aspect of pride,
Sure.
obviously, that comes from that, and for me, it would be quality, like this a level of quality. So when they say it, they know what's going to come with it. I
Yeah.
feel like if you say the name or if you say something like, okay, like a Mercedes or something
Yeah.
like that, like we can go into cars, like whatever they produce is just like a high quality.
Absolutely.
And if they started making clothing, which they won't. I know they have like little advertising stuff, but it's going to be this high end. It's the highest quality possible thing.
yes.
Kind of like that level of concept of legendary brand.
Yes, you know exactly what you're getting, and it's the best of the best.
When the name is announced, everyone's like, yeah, you know what you're gonna get, kind of thing. And I know one thing that was like, it's just like funny, and I don't even know how this would ever happen, but I always thought about like, I thought it'd be cool to be in like Guinness Book of World Records for something.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting.
I just thought it was fascinating that you could just open up a book and like some people's names
Yeah.
are in this for something no one else in the world ever did.
Yeah.
I just thought that was cool, even if it's for like one day, and then the next day someone beats you or beats your record. At least like, it's just that at one moment in time, I was
Sure.
the only person in the
Yeah.
world and in history that ever did this. Right? I just think that's like super cool. I don't know how I would do it, but a person who like constantly pushes the envelope, not so much now, but when I guess about 10 years ago or so, was Rob Dyrdek. He was always innovative in everything. He was doing stuff that no one else was doing, or trying stuff that no one else was doing, and that just kind of like placed that in my mind. I mean, to the point where he literally was like what they call grinding. He was also a professional skateboarder, so he had like the longest grind in history, where he did like 10, and Guinness Book of World Records was there, and they recorded 10 different tricks that he did that no one ever did in history, and he got the plaques and all this stuff. It was just
Oh, wow.
like that like stayed in my mind, like that mark. And dude, that was years ago. I can't even tell you when that episode came out.
Yeah.
And that always stayed stuck in my head. It was at least 10 years ago. And I never said it to anybody, but I always thought, I'm like, how cool would that be? Yeah.
Yeah, I've thought about like the having a world record that
Yeah.
people are actually striving to beat eventually at some point.
Yeah. The other thing is running a marathon. And I said this to somebody else the other day, and they're like, why? Right. So for me, it's beyond like the physical training, like
Sure.
no duh. Like you have to be on some level of in shape,
yeah.
to complete it. And I said to complete it. I didn't say to break a record.
Yeah.
I'm talking about just to complete a marathon,
That-
which is 26.2 miles.
I'll say that's a point of pride in general. Just
Right. And for me, that's just like a level of mental toughness
Sure.
that I would like to say that I endured. Like to say that I ran a marathon is like just cool as heck to me. Same thing as saying, for me personally, I have my master's degree. Regardless whether I do anything with either, right? I just think for me, it's just cool as heck. For me.
You can run a marathon while holding your master's degree.
Exactly. The medal around my neck. All right, cool. Any countries, places, or locations you would like to visit? I think for me, like a cool one, obviously the classic backpacking in Europe.
Yeah.
But like, I always found like Australia to be appealing
Yeah.
to me, as well as Egypt.
Okay.
I just think they're just like fascinating. Obviously, for me personally, I would love to go to the Holy Land, go to Jerusalem. I think it would be super cool.
Well, if you want a bucket list, Australia's the place to go because everything there would probably kill you.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. Yeah. I would like to go to like to the UK, like England.
Mm-hmm.
Just I like their fashion, their style, everything. And then just to obviously to be on the exotic side, like I would like to see like Dubai.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like the crazy over the top. Like,
Yeah, like to be on like the. So they're like two different worlds. UK's old, like England is like the old castles and
absolutely.
older, and then
Yeah.
you go to Dubai where like things are modern and over extreme.
Yeah, like
those
the
those would be like the two
100-story hotels and all that stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
talk about Guinness World Broken Records.
Yeah, I think there's there's some building there that literally like the guy, he's like one of the wealthiest people on earth. It's in Dubai where the fourth floor
It
is
snows.
constantly snowing.
Yeah, it snows. Yeah, I saw that. Yes.
Dude pays for like these machines to
It's
like
just constantly.
have the fourth floor literally
Wow.
just snowing.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I know one of like a cool vacation spot for me too is Bora Bora.
Yeah.
To stay in one of those little huts or whatever that's
Tahiti,
on
yeah.
the freaking on the water. It's just amazing. Yeah, definitely. So what do you want to see in person? What would you, so it's kind of like the visiting thing. But for me, kind of like, yeah, I want to go to Egypt, but what do I want to see in person would be the pyramids.
Sure.
And
That's
to
right.
see like the massive site of these structures. Same thing with in Brazil, that huge in Rio, I believe it's in Rio de Janeiro, the huge
Yeah.
Jesus statue
Mhm.
with his hands are out.
Yeah.
I guess like the wonders of the world.
Sure. Like the Stonehenge and
Yes,
stuff like that.
exactly. I think that's what's really
The
fascinating.
Loch Ness monster.
Yes, and Bigfoot. What achievements would you want to have on your bucket list? I mean, for me, there's a lot especially when you say achievement. Achievement and success are like things that everyone defines differently.
But that could be something like you said, like holding a Guinness World Record is like
Right.
That's
That's cool,
an
right?
achievement you don't think about, but it is something like you have that title even if it's for
Yeah.
a short period of time.
Yeah.
But I never like it's stuff like I always think of like grand thing. Oh, like you want like an Olympic medal or something like that.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I know like previously, like one I was like, oh, I always wanted to write my own book, and then like I wrote my own book. It's kind of like one of those things, like as like whoa. Same thing with like getting my degree from Temple. It was one of those things like I want to see that achievement
Yeah.
happen. Currently for me, it'd be getting my master's from Drexel University, seeing that come into fruition. That's just like whoa. Well, there's a couple things like if we're talking, the problem with a lot of internal things, they're hard to measure, right?
Sure.
So I would like to say like, to increase my level of awareness and understanding for humankind. I mean, yeah, but I'm not sure if that can ever be measured. So I don't know what to say to that. But yeah, I mean, there's other like financial goals that I would like,
Sure.
family goals. But anything crazy like that, I think would be dope. A crazy achievement would be, I don't know, like something to the level of helping humanity on some form. I'm not sure what in the heck that would be, but I feel like,
I'll say that's a grander scale.
yeah, like that's just like this massive thing, right? And I do think like the place to start with things like that is your own friends and family.
Sure.
When you have some impact with them, then they carry, a little piece of you with them wherever they go. So yeah,
Sure.
there's that trickle effect that, kind of carries on. What experiences do you want to have and feel? When I first read that, the first thing that came to me was, I think it was my senior year. I don't know if it was my senior year or my junior year, where I was in baseball and we were playing against our rivals, Holy Ghost. And I was up to bat and I smacked this ball, literally hit the top of the fence. It was like inches from basically a home run or whatever. And I ended up getting like a double or whatever. The guy was playing back, so hit the fence and you basically just run up, grab the ball, and you chuck it in. But there's a guy, I believe, on second or third or something, or maybe on first. But he scored, and that was like our winning run. So they were home, so they batted last, but we held them out, and we won the game. And I just remember everyone jumping up and down like on top of me or whatever. And I remember how elated, I don't know even how to describe that rush, which is crazy because we were talking smack at the same time, plus the fact that it just got backed up with this win and the excitement of everyone else cheering you on. And I just remember looking up and the parents jumping up and down. Like, it's just this crazy experience. I'm not sure how you can ball that up and put it into something else.
Sure.
But if I can feel that again,
Yeah.
I would love to get that feeling back. I don't know what the heck that was, but I mean, just nuts. Like, two teams are talking crap for the whole season. The newspapers there, little local radio stations there. Other kids, like players and coaches from other teams are watching. Like, it was like the time you're gonna do something. This is the time to
You
do it,
gotta
kind
make
of
it
thing.
happen.
And it happened. It was like, did that really just? Look, I get the chills right now. Did that really just happen? You know what I mean? I don't know how you ball that up and put that into like one thing, but if I can get that feeling, and I'm sure I have, just in different ways,
Sure.
I guess. But it's just, that's the way I can describe. That's one way I can describe something that, yeah, I almost feel like that's success to me. Like striving for that feeling
Sure.
and that excitement, that enjoyment that everyone was a part of, that you felt like you contributed to. You felt of value. It was very fulfilling. Yeah, it's just wild. Are there any special moments you want to witness? I mean, I know for me, it's like, obviously they're young, but like, for example, this past weekend, James had his first game and he scored his first goal, the team's only goal, and he rounded around the goal and came running on the sidelines and gave my wife and myself a high five. That would never, ever happen ever again, right? That
Sure.
experience. I would die to continue to, if I could witness that.
Go back and just keep rewatching that.
Yeah,
for the
or no,
first
but I mean
time.
like continually, like having
Sure.
experiences like that,
Okay.
that
Yeah.
it's an excitement that I'm experiencing, but I'm excited for another human. That it almost felt like I did it. You're that excited for the person, right? Like, obviously it's my kid, but still, it's like I was so excited for him. It felt that I got something out of it.
Yeah.
Because I was so thrilled and so excited for him. And then that was like his natural reaction. We didn't say like,
Yeah.
once you score, come over here. It just happened.
Yeah.
And if I can witness moments like that forever, just, even if they're different scenarios, it doesn't have to necessarily be sports. Watching them walk down the aisle, getting a diploma, or watching them walk down, marrying the best friend, of, their best friend, whatever, stuff like that. Or it's just like, that's the stuff that I live for. I mean, it's just fantastic. Or my wife, or my brothers, or like my friends achieving something that
Sure.
just me witnessing whatever they want. There's something about it, like, what that person, like the first thing I thought of was like me and James in the backyard kicking into our goal, like, after
Yeah.
work, and just like watching him do that. And you could tell, like the whole first half of the game or whatever it was, he was just frustrated, and because nothing was happening,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden
Then
it just
started.
broke
Well, yeah, that's
off,
just like
and then
the-
he like smoked a couple kids, and he just kept going, and it was just wide open goal, and he kicked it perfectly and went right in.
The natural reaction of proud parents, and then he knows his number 1 and 2 cheerleaders, like fans.
Yeah.
So he just, it's just
Yeah,
that ham in him.
yeah. Oh, dude, that was just like unreal. What are the most important things you can ever do?
To me, is try your best in anything you attempt to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or encourage someone to do that.
I was gonna say that's what my thought was like just cheer on everybody around you, like
Positive.
Yeah.
exactly what you're just doing for James. Just like be that point of pride proudful for what they're doing.
Exactly. I mean, I think it's just engaging in that moment.
Yeah.
What's crazy, I don't know, it's sad, is like I see there's other parents there, and you know they could be going through stuff. I don't
Sure.
know what's going on. They were physically there, but they weren't present.
Yeah.
And I just see like literally a dad to his back was to the field where his daughter was playing.
Yeah.
And that goes, I guess, somewhat to what you're talking about at the beginning, of taking it for granted that, oh, they're just gonna play sports or whatever, blah blah, but not realizing that that's an experience that you should be having in the moment, because, like, what the point of this podcast, like, of this topic, is you never know when that might not be happening.
Right. Yeah.
You don't know when that opportunity would ever open up again.
Right. And you don't know when something's going to happen. But if you're present, like I'm like running up and down, the sidelines with James or whatever. This is his first time. He only had one practice, and then they had a game. So he doesn't know. So he's falling, obviously, in soccer. These kids, they're running into each other and falling a lot. And he's just laying on the floor, right? And I kept telling him, James, you got to get up, bud. Everyone has spikes on. Someone's going to step, not for anything else, but for your own safety. Someone's going to step on your little hands.
Yeah.
And then you're really going to be hurting.
Yeah.
Because right now, you're getting kicked, but you have shin guards on, so it's not hurting you. But again, it's all new for him. He doesn't know any better. He's just like looking. He's just like looking around like, what the heck is going on? Because when we practice, it's just me and him.
Yeah.
He in practice with a bunch of kids who are bigger than him, same size as him, or just all on top of you, who don't even care that it's soccer. They just want to wrestle.
Yeah.
And you have to navigate through that. I don't know. It's a super fun thing to be a part of. What would you like to do or say together with other people you love, friends, family? I mean, I think this, for me, I'm living in this current moment. With this podcast, I would like this podcast to take on another form, to another level. For example, if we get like our own spot to do the podcast and have certain guests appear on our podcast, to get certain sponsors for our podcast to hit a certain ranking, like those things I know we did together, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with the Blessed Lifestyle brand. For me, it's like me witnessing other people witnessing what's happening and right before their eyes, or what's unfolding right before their eyes, but me being able to share the moment. It's every unshared success is a failure. Right? So it's like one of those things that it's like excitement. Okay, for example, like if you're a baseball team, you would want a Major League Baseball team, you would want to share, obviously, when you win the World Series with specific teammates. Like how cool would that be?
Yeah.
Like in high school, we won this, to a certain level in the States or whatever, in the competition, and we got to share that moment with each other. It's like things like that, like those wins. For me and Gabe, it's like when we've been putting together this project, the Motivation Files, like seeing it even just be released, like we hit release, like the first sale, and we're both looking at each other like, dude, we just sold the first one. Like that moment, just to share that. When I released the first one, when I had people here, celebrate it, like just share that actual moment. Just this past Sunday, what we did with the Blessed brand, just had like this little mini photo shoot with the family or whatever. Just like, you don't have to do those things, but that stuff's like a choice. It's not only a choice I made to put it out there. It was a choice on everyone else to come to it and be a part of it. That's sharing in the moment. It's not me sharing just myself with you. It's everyone sharing their time. Like everyone could have been doing other stuff. It's a Sunday. It's your day off, right? On top of that, it's pouring raining. And like for people to just be out there and know that it's obviously important to me, but they also want to indulge in that moment and be a part of something like that. It's a mutual, like, it's just this, there's something fun about that.
It comes a mutual sense of success or accomplishment.
Yeah, and that association, like, you want those good feelings.
Absolutely.
For everybody. Everybody wanted everybody to feel good that day. And of course, there's more to come with that, but it's like those things. Those are the kinds of things that I would like to continue to, like, I never want to let go of things like that. Things that are like literally forever embedded in my brain. Like that's just dope. Are there any specific people you would like to meet in person that are, I mean, obviously that are alive?
I don't know. Like I've never. See, I don't know. To me, that always goes to like celebrity. I've never been like a celebrity type person, so I don't.
Okay.
I,
Okay, so I have a couple people. Maybe one's maybe a celebrity, but like the other one's just big in personal development.
Okay.
But he could pass by 95% of people and no one would know who he is.
Yeah.
So there's not a celebrity there.
Yeah.
He's popular in this dimension of the world.
Sure.
It would be Bob Proctor. Bob Proctor. He's just one of those guys and he's a huge in the personal development arena. That it's just something that he does, and he's way older. When he talks, there's something about him that resonates with me.
Sure.
I don't know what it is, but like I understand, kind of thing. Yeah, I think Rob Dyrdek would be another person who I would just like to meet and just think that like that's super cool. Dave Ramsey's probably another person that I would like to meet, who I think is super cool. Randall Pitch. I don't know how you pronounce his last name, but he's the owner of Lyft.
Okay.
Live Fit.
Not lift the car share, whatever.
No, LVFT. Yeah, Live Fit.
Yeah, that's what it is. Live fit. That's like that was like his phrase.
Right. Yeah, I mean, just watching him and his business grow, and it's just fascinating to me, and it's something that I would like to model, and I just think it'd be cool to meet him. For certain people like Bob Proctor or like a Les Brown, like a Tony Robbins, it's not like a celebrity thing. It would be more of like to say thank you. These people, or like Rhonda Byrne, these people changed my life and they didn't even know it. Right. So that's what's crazy. That's the reason why I would like to say thank you. These people are like way older than me. It's not like, you know what I mean? But it's just like say thank you. I mean, obviously like this Randall Peach would be somebody who I would just like to hang out and pick his brain maybe, because obviously he's like relatively the same age. But like these older people, I legit just want to say like hug them and say thank you. Because literally without their literature or their works,
Sure.
I don't think I would be where I am today, in all honesty. And I just think that's like, I don't know, I just think it's super cool. And I feel bad right now because I know there's someone else in the back of my mind that I'm not mentioning right now. But so is there anything you want to achieve in different areas like social, love, family, career, finance, health, spirituality? Like, is there anything specific that like comes to your mind that, you wish to hit at one point?
I mean, I feel like I can do better in all.
Sure.
Just like a little bit in each every category.
Yeah. Because I mean, I've always said from like I'm not the greatest social person, so like I'm still like I think we had a conversation not long ago. Like I know there's a lot more stuff I need to work on, that type of stuff, and it's like being more comfortable in this type of thing. Like we're trying to like understand what you want to do with your life. Like this type of thing gives you those kind of gears moving, kind of understand like what you actually want to do in life, and I guess being comfortable in understanding what I actually want and who I am and all that stuff, and trying to be better socially, but with my family and all that stuff. Whatever. It's like it's hard to quantify that, but
yeah, I mean, I think like when it comes to areas of like love and like spirituality, I feel like if you hit marks and like health,
sure.
like if you hit certain marks in them, these other categories will also get hit.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right, in a way. So like if you're not healthy, like if you're really bad, like with eating really bad and you're just killing yourself basically,
Sure.
like a lot of this other stuff is gonna fall apart, right? Your
Well,
family's
yeah.
gonna fall
It's all
apart. Your love, like,
consequence of that, yeah.
so, but if you have that in shape or you're working towards it, and like for me, I always say like, requesting or navigating myself towards a bigger understanding, a higher level of awareness, to be more compassionate towards other people, that would develop me to a certain extent that I would love myself even more, which means I would take care of myself physically and emotionally and spiritually even more, right? So it's kind of like this, okay, well, that's all kind of inner, that kind of works out.
These all go hand in hand.
Yes, I believe so. And I think if you work one at a time, then eventually you get into like your little rhythm, and then you boom, you could work on the other. I don't know.
Sure.
I feel like it's every single one of them. It's just life. I think
Yeah.
everyone goes through
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
single one. There's no you can't like. I don't feel like you can really master any of them. Like there's
Right.
no like I don't know. You can always be healthier. You can always be more healthy conscious. Like you can always do better in financing, or you know what I mean, hit that next level. Or yeah, there's no like I don't know. There are like levels you want to achieve to them, and there's no ceiling to it.
Yeah,
it always
yeah.
just keeps going. Like you can always
no
do
true-
better. Yeah, you
right.
can always do better.
So like
And that's like
pinnacle.
and every single one of them, it's like your daily life.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be better at living life.
You
yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, obviously, like everyone's hacking away, or should be trying to hack away at each of the above, and
Sure.
you know, it is
Yeah,
what it is. That
yeah.
it's true. Like that's life. It's
Yeah.
I heard today someone was mentioning about it's amazing how we go to theme parks and pay to get in, to get on a roller coaster, to get this thrill and this adrenaline rush, these ups and downs, these loop arounds,
That's
and
funny.
all over the place. But we can get it for free while we go through life, and we are stagnant in the fear and in the face of all these kinds of changes. The same changes.
That's an interesting way to put it.
It is. And obviously there's so much to that, right? I mean, it's not that clear cut, but it's still a concept to like true.
For sure. The emotional roller coaster is way different than
Right.
the thrill
The physical.
roller coaster.
Yeah, exactly. So lastly, was there anything that you had on your bucket list previously and you completed? Or what, whatever you define bucket list as? I know, like for me, like I have like a vision board and I list my goals and I rate my. I mean, I guess that's what you would call bucket list.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
So
like,
for me,
like
in that sense, there's a bunch of stuff. For example, I'll keep going back to it, but I always wanted to be a homeowner. I wanted to get married. I wanted to have children. I wanted to graduate from a specific school with a certain GPA. Like, yes, I knocked a bunch of stuff off my bucket list.
yeah,
Obviously, my bucket list is getting bigger, and as you proceed. But yeah, there's a ton of stuff that I knocked out. A bunch of goals. I remember there was one year. I don't remember exactly which one it was. And for me, I think I might have just set my my goals and my expectations so low. But I worked so hard. I literally hit every single goal that I wrote at the beginning of the year. I hit every single one. It was like a list of like 10 or 15 things. One of them was like a nice little stretch. But I literally hit, I think it was 2011. It was a year going into the year I was getting married.
Okay. That's when
Yeah.
you were super like on top of everything.
Yeah. As of right now, I'm falling apart. But yeah, but beyond that, I mean, like, even currently, like, I'm hitting stuff, I'm doing stuff that I'm just like, whoa, like, I can't believe it's happening
The
kind
stuff
of
that
thing.
we talked about years ago.
Years ago, yeah, and
Yeah.
it's all kind of like piecing together, and the way it's piecing together, I'm just standing back, and one thing's moving. What's crazy is, like, for example, like, one thing's moving, and a bunch of other stuff in the background are also happening, and it's like, this is crazy. So, like, it went from, like, starting to record the Motivation Files Unleashed and working on that, and obviously I had other plans to do other things, and then just I turned 33. I never forget, like, I turned 33, right? Like, in June. And it was like, this is my year. Like, 33 is the year I thought about since I was a kid. And the reason why I thought about it was because that's how old Jesus was when he died. Literally, that's my thing behind this.
yeah,
And it always stuck with me. I said, if that's the year I'm going to die, it's going to be my greatest year. So I'm thinking, like, how would I go beyond this? Like, that's going to be the year I'm going to crush it. And that stayed forever. Literally my entire life, 20 plus years ago, when I understood that concept.
Yeah.
I was 4 or 5 years old, whatever. That Jesus died at 33, right? And it just stayed in my head. I'm like, that's going to be, and to me, the crucifixion of that all was, in itself, like, the greatest thing,
Yeah.
one of the greatest things, right? That level of sacrifice. So I was like, oh, the year of 33, I'm going to sacrifice it all. If nothing ever happened until then, I'm sacrificing everything. I'm going to achieve everything I ever always wanted. And then here I am, turning 33, and I'm literally doing things that I've never done already. But what's crazy is things are unfolding while I'm focusing on the motivation files. The Blessed Lifestyle brand, as everyone knows, was supposed to come out next month, right? Way after, and it just took on a life of its own. So we went with that and put something else on the back burner. And then I figured, okay, while we're doing that, while I'm waiting, I always want to do like the music video. And here we are. We already hired somebody to do the music video, and I just emailed me the script for the music video, and like that stuff's happening. And I always want to, like, we always talk about like having your own brand and promoting it and going every day and seeing how you could make that better. And here I go, people are coming after me asking how I can, join if I'm interested in joining their trade show or going to their church and talking to, the youth or selling my products over there. To the point to right before we just came in here, I just got asked to do a small speaking engagement. It's all stuff that I always wanted to do. And it never manifested up until the time I just said, screw it, I'm going after this.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. All chips on the table. There's no plan B. There's no nothing. I'm just going straight head on with everything, right? So all these other things are unfolding. But I think there's something to that. There's something to, kind of saying like living to the fullest, to your fullest potential is, did you put it all out? You can't tell me if you didn't put it all on the table, you can't tell me you live into the fullest.
Yeah.
Right? Because you didn't put it all out there. That means you still have some things on reserve.
Yeah.
Right? Like I have literally nothing on reserve. There's nothing on deck. There's no, I'll wait till you see this thing. It's all there and I'm working within it. Right? The other concept, like, and I know there's like bucket list, but there's certain truths to this that will help you achieve things that are on your bucket list, is that everything you always ever wanted to achieve is already here available in this earth. It's just the way. Okay, so for example, for the people that are just kind of like, what the heck does that mean? Okay, so take us back to 1900, right? And then the lifestyle that people lived, let's just talk about technology, right? Compared to today, we're in 2018. Is the technology the same? No. Were new things invented? Yes. Were new things created? No. That material back in 1900 existed on this earth, but we got it off of different products or things and put them together and made the right combination to produce electricity, to produce the internet, to produce all these other technologies, right? That they weren't just pulled out of thin air, unless we're talking about Wi-Fi. But they weren't just they were there. They existed already. Yes. So that's what it means. Is like whatever anything that you ever always wanted is already exists in the world.
The components the
components are there. You just have to put the components together and come up with the right combination.
Yes.
So that's, if anyone needed hope, there you go. It's possible, basically. You just have to figure it out. All right, today you have it, folks. A bucket list. We like to end our podcast with quotes, and the first one is by George Bernard Shaw. He states, "Life isn't about finding yourself. It's about creating yourself." And the second one by Abraham Lincoln, which is, "It's classic. In the end, it's not the years in your life that count. It's the life in your years." All right, so there you have it, bucket list. In this episode, we talk about everything pertaining to our achievements and experience we have or would like to accomplish during our lifetime. The crew discusses the biggest goals and dreams, skills they would like to learn, people they would like to meet, and much more. We wrap the episode up with quotes from Abraham Lincoln and George Bernard Shaw. Awesome. Guys, thanks again for joining us. The Rotated Views podcast was produced for self-development purposes. Huge shout out to our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by the Blessed Lifestyle brand. That is BL3SSED.com. Also sponsored by The Motivation Files Unleashed. This motivational mixtape will be your fuel for success. Available on all platforms. Guys, don't forget to visit the website, JimmyLeeVelez.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Rotated Views. If you have any inquiries or questions, email us at info@JimmyLeeVelez.com. On behalf of myself and the rest of the crew, we wish you massive success. Stay blessed.